Cash-a-maniacs.
Geo Gearheads.
Hey, welcome to Geo Gearheads. This is episode 490 about Chevy big blocks. Wait, no, that's not what this is about. But 490 was a Chevy big block, in case you wanted to know. This show is a weekly show about geocaching and location-based games. I'm Chris of the Northwest, along with our host, Darryl W4.
Hey, Chris, how's it been going this week?
Well, it's been pretty good this week.
Did you get any caching or anything in?
Not a bit.
So you're holding true to the podcaster pledge that we not find any caches.
Yes, if I'm a podcaster and I'm going to remain a podcaster, I'm not allowed to actually go find geocaches. That's the rule.
Right.
Today rained like the dickens. So,
really?
Not a chance today.
So you're back in Victorian England?
Yes.
Oh, interesting. I don't think I'd like that very much.
That's why there were no geocaches.
Right. Well, we have to go back to letterboxing, and that's just not nearly as much fun.
No, but, the writing can be fun, I've heard.
True. Anyway. No, I didn't get any caching in this week either. We didn't have very good weather for it either. So.
Well, that's...
Fair weather cachers.
Yeah. I'm going to try to get some in this weekend. We got an extra day this weekend.
We do?
Memorial Day, Monday? Maybe. Some people...
but we always have a Monday.
Yeah, but you don't always have to go to work on Monday.
Yeah, and that's not part of the weekend.
GSM times 2 said I should be a vlogger because you actually get to go find geocaches when you're a vlogger.
Yeah, see, and that's what I did is I became a vlogger so that I can actually find some caches.
Oh, okay.
But that makes it even worse in some respects because it's like, okay, the lighting's not good today. I can't go find caches.
I'm sorry, it's cloudy. We're not allowed to find caches and record them on cloudy days.
My wife and I actually had that discussion last weekend.
That's wrong.
Well, it's mostly a way for her to get out of caching when the weather isn't so nice.
Aha. So it's a ploy.
Right. It's the excuse. Let's save the caches for when we have better light.
Well, that's true. Yet.
The problem is
the truth.
We have to actually go a good distance just to get caches now. At least in any quantity. So
I've had a couple placed nearby me that I've looked at and go, why would they put one there?
Browling says that if we stayed in when it was cloudy, we would never go caching here in the Pacific Northwest.
That's right. Well, no, there's 3 days during the summer.
There's 3, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought those 3 days were allocated.
Pretty much. And they're typically Mondays. So, meaning that you have you have 5 days of decent weather followed by 2 days of rain, which we call the weekend.
And Pickle Ninja says, no extreme caching for Darryl? No.
Is extreme caching going miles to find a cache? Can be extreme.
Could be. And Browling says, shh, we don't tell anyone about the 3 days.
Oh, sorry. I don't know what you're talking about. It rains here every day of the year.
Yeah, I thought those 3 days were for the honey-do list.
Yeah, pretty much.
Wow, you're so far off track.
Are we really, though?
Yeah, because we're talking about trackables today.
Oh. Yeah, trackables are how I get my work done around the house. If I haven't logged a trackable, then I need to go take the garbage out or go, do something. It reminds me, oh, yeah, that was the last time I was there. Isn't that how you use them? Like a to-do list?
No.
Oh, well, you're doing it wrong.
I was going to say, do you have trackables mixed up with your daytime job? And
No. You see, you put a trackable in the garbage can, one on the recycle bin, one on the yard waste, right? So that you hit them every 2 weeks.
Right.
No? Okay.
No.
Oh. Put one on the lawnmower. And that gets you out mowing the lawn. You know what? I want to go find a trackable. Oh, there's one on the lawnmower. Oh man, that means I have to push it. Maybe I won't log this one today.
GSM times 2 says talking about traveling is what trackables do, so you are on target.
Okay.
Yeah, except the kind of trackables we want to talk about today is actually the trackables for discovery, which we've talked about before. But
Discovery?
yes, but we're going to talk about it again because, well, it's coming up to that lovely season where we're looking to hopefully go to events.
Event season.
Yes. So last year I put 4 trackable stickers on my car.
That's a little extreme, Darryl.
Well, they're all trackables that I already owned.
Okay.
2 of them are my wife's and 2 of them are mine.
So did you put them on the correct side of the car?
Yes, I did.
I assume she drives all the time.
No, not this car. We have other stickers on her car.
Okay.
But yeah, 2 of them were trackables that I had for the car previously, one of them, which was a magnet that I can never find. So, I've lost it. Therefore, I make a sticker and put it in the car. Another one was a trackable sticker that I got for the car that peeled off the window.
You're talking like a vinyl cling?
It wasn't the cling, but it was the vinyl adhesive.
Okay.
One of the ones that has the little letters, and it didn't take very long for that one to start coming apart.
Darryl, if you put it on the outside of the window, you can't scrape over it in the winter.
It
Right
wasn't
off.
that. It was more the car wash.
That might do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
See, that's the beauty of I think the vinyl clings on the inside, right? Unless you've got deeply tinted windows, which, a lot of cars have nowadays.
Yeah, I was going to say my car is one of those that there's no chance you're going to see the cling through the window. I have to go on the outside. So in my case, what I did was there's an indention on the tailgate that's an actually like really, really smooth plastic. And it's kind of recessed a little bit so it doesn't get hit by the brushes. It's on the back, unless someone hits it, there's not much that happens to it aside from, dirt and dust. So they've been there for a year. The only thing that's happened of significance is they've faded a little bit.
That little indention there in the back is where the license plate goes, Darryl.
No, but it is on either side of the license plate.
Okay.
It's actually on either side of the backup camera.
So are you getting standard trackable stickers?
No. We actually
you...
made them off of the Cricut. And we did a video on the YouTube channel, the R&DW Adventures YouTube channel, on how we went about doing that. So the whole point of this roundabout story is you don't need to buy specific trackables to put on your car. You can make them out of anything you want. There are services that will do that for you. So you can pick the style, you can get the trackable bug icon, get them remade. Just about any of the major trackable resellers in the US will have a service available for replacement trackables where you just provide the tracking number and they will cut it for you or print it or whatever it is.
Reprint or remake the car sticker for you.
Right. But it doesn't have to be a car sticker. It could be a plain old travel bug. If you had that travel bug that went missing years and years ago that you want to commemorate, or like let's say it's a geocoin. If you had a personal geocoin, you could take one of those numbers and make it into a trackable sticker for your car or into a name tag or anything else. So as we talk tonight, keep that in mind. Any trackable will work. You just have to Pizza Ninja asks, can you have self-destructing trackables?
It depends
Yes.
on how many times you go to the car wash.
They're called Galaxy Notes.
Yeah. Ouch.
That's kind of digging way back. Sorry.
Yes. I mean, it depends on what you print your own trackable out of. Now, the ones you buy, the trackable stickers made of vinyl and such, are of really good quality and should last you many years. I assume, and GSM times 2 correct me, since he's probably the person we know that lives in the hottest climate here, that they will dry out over time and need to be replaced. Here in the Northwest, it's not an issue. Nothing ever dries out, not even for 3 days a year. Just telling you that, not 3 days a year. And so
Ryan says he does the trackable LED name badges.
Ooh.
I've got the cup that I use in the show. This is the same thing. These are just trackables, literally, that I grab off the shelf and put on the cup every week.
And so you pin that cup to your shirt and go out?
No, but actually, hang on.
Okay.
I've got the lanyard from the last Midwest Geobash that I went to.
Nice.
And it's got one of the white LED, because I figured that was going to be brighter. In practice, it doesn't work.
Why?
You couldn't see it outside.
Really?
Yes.
So I've seen several of the red LEDs.
Yeah. So if you are going for the LEDs, I would recommend getting one of the colors, not the white.
Okay. So, Ryan, tell me what you're using to make your trackable LED badges, just out of curiosity. Now I must know.
Yes. And the other thing that I will note with this one. Ooh, he says, mine are engraved in acrylic. So I gather that he's actually doing the acrylic plate over just an LED like flashlight. It's not one of the electric LED signboards.
Right. So it's not moving, but it's lit, and that's actually quite genius.
Yeah. And the thing I was going to say about this name tag is it's a little bit too short, so you have to scroll to get the trackable, and that confused people too.
Okay. So
it worked when I was inside, but isn't the point of an event like that to be outside?
Well, especially nowadays.
Yeah. Just Finding Our Way says we get good life out of them in Arizona. I've got some over 5 years old, still looking good.
Of course, Arizona.
And Brian Lang says lasers, pew pew.
He must be a stormtrooper because he didn't hit anything.
There was a little pin that I saw the other day with a stormtrooper with the blaster with the flag coming out, pew pew. I wanted it. I didn't buy it, but I wanted it. I didn't know what to do with it. But GSM times 2 says the vinyl will eventually wear out in the heat. I know a lot of things, but I don't know how to spell vinyl.
Oh, yeah. So yeah, vinyl does wear out, and you can replace them. You can have them custom printed inexpensively and replaced. The expense on most of those is getting the tracking code themselves.
Yeah, exactly. Well, actually, the material in the printing isn't cheap, especially if you're factoring and getting it from somewhere. But the Cricut plotters, and there's the other one, the Silhouette from Brother, are pretty darn easy to work with. You can get the material, do it yourself. It's not that tough. So if you know someone who has it, lean on them and get them to make it. The one thing that I would suggest with making any of these stickers, do it in nice large block letters with black on white text, not white on black, because that will actually work better for things like TV Scan, for GeoGo, for Cashly's OCR. It's not mandatory, but it does work better.
Well, it's more like paper, right?
Exactly. It emulates the black text
on a white background.
White paper.
Black text on a white background emulates paper. It's the easiest to read.
Yeah.
And
if it's high contrast, it's easy to read for, people. But what I ended up doing, since it was a black strip on my car, was I took a light gray that kind of matched the paint, which is actually like a titanium. But that way it didn't look quite as glaring. And I just did a reverse on it. So I'm putting on the sticker that's like a bar, with rounded corners, but a bar with the letters cut out of it.
Oh, gotcha.
And then there's a transfer sheet that you have to stick on the top of that so that the letters don't fall apart as you put them down. Think of an 8. It has 2 dots that are going to have to stick in there. So you need that transfer sheet.
Oh, yeah.
It puts it onto the car, and then you peel off the transfer sheet on the top when you're done.
So this is one thing I haven't quite figured out. Okay. And you described it well, but I'm still not getting it. So you print it out on the
vinyl. Yep.
On the vinyl. And then
you cut it out. It's actually a knife that's slicing it.
You cut it out. But everything's still there, right? All the pieces are still there. And then you put your transfer sheet on?
Well, first, before you put the transfer sheet on, you have to do what they call weeding in the Cricut world, which is you take out the bits that you don't want. Okay. So you're pulling from the front the bits that aren't going to be stuck to, in this case, the car, off the backer sheet.
Okay.
Then you put down the transfer sheet.
Okay. I was thinking the other way around. You leave it all there, put it on the transfer, and then pull off the pieces you don't want.
I have heard of people doing it that way because in some materials, it's safer to do that than to go the other way around.
Oh, okay. Backer sheet. So
you have to put the whole thing onto the car or whatever it is, and then pull it off.
Right. And the backer sheets can be used multiple times?
No, because the backer sheet actually comes with the material, the vinyl. It's an adhesive vinyl. So it comes on that backer sheet, and with the Cricut, it's rolls that we've been using. And then you slice the appropriate size.
Gotcha.
You put it onto this tacky cardboard kind of thing. It's not cardboard, but get the idea. And then that special cut, it's like a cutting backer board, goes through the Cricut, and it's the standard size so that the Cricut knows what it's doing. It knows how to register and where to cut.
Okay. I've looked at those, and they're really quite interesting. You can do a lot with it, more than just vinyl, of course. And
well, they have the Maker series, which will actually do like veneers. So you can actually cut out of wood and glue that down. So people are doing all kinds of cool things with like wood countertops that are the veneer, and then they're lacquering that, or epoxy, I think, actually. But you can do some really cool things with veneer. Different types of wood, and cutouts for like showing through lights. The who was it? Ryan that was looking for or who was doing the acrylic with the LED. Imagine doing that with wood. And with getting really, really nice, sharp text.
Nice. I've maybe I should get one of those.
I don't necessarily want the Maker, because if you're looking to do like the vinyl, the Maker works, but it's not as tight tolerance. So that was what made us get the older one, the Air 2 instead. So yes, the Maker is awesome and it does everything, but it's not as tight a tolerance because it needs the extra play. So when you get that thinner, sloppier material in, it's not as good. So we've been told. We haven't actually tried it, but that's what we were told. Ryan says that his laser has done wood as well. And then Just Finding Our Way says they have the Maker, but have only done vinyl for the geocaches, which is another great use for those. You can do all kinds of cool things. And I think when we were talking with someone that I just drawing a blank, I just had in my head, but he was doing the vinyl cuts that way too. For like the warning stickers.
You've probably seen on TV the Glowforge laser engraver, which can, cut and engrave and do different things. That's, they start at $3,000. It's not cheap.
No.
So it's probably not something you want to do just for quick fun. Hey, let's get this and see if we can do, the equivalent of a $10 sticker. But there are desktop engravers that are a lot more affordable in the, let's see, $180 range.
Yeah. And I've always worried about those cheap ones because, it's a laser.
There's no sharks involved.
No. Ryan says that's what he has is the, I assume Glowforge. Glow? Yeah.
I mean, I see the commercial. I'm like, ooh, so cool. Yeah. And then I look at the price and go, oh, no, I'm okay. But if you can produce cool things, then
after people were burning down houses with electrical problems from their 3D printers, I'm not terribly anxious to go cheap on that kind of stuff.
Good point.
So yes, I keep staring at those when they're on the deal of the day for like $100 going, it's $100. What could go wrong?
Well,
and then I just see the flames in the back of my mind consuming the podcast studio. Ryan says that you cannot cut vinyl with the Glowforge.
If you try hard enough. Okay, never mind. Maybe not.
Just Finding Our Way says that you got a cheap laser to do the wood nickels, but it's mediocre at best.
Okay, so the inexpensive ones may not be worth it.
Probably not.
And I don't know if the Glowforge is the high end. It's the only one I see advertised, right? So, but if it can't do vinyl, then there are 3 levels that I see here. He says the fumes aren't worth it. That's kind of like a 3D printer.
Yeah, I still got to get my 3D printer up. I got new 3D printers and I haven't even run anything through them.
I kind of got burnt out on 3D printing. I know I should, but I haven't.
Well, ever since I had the connector blow on the one, I haven't gotten back to 3D printing, and it's just I don't have the time to get to it. And it's not something, especially because these are brand new printers that I haven't spent any time with, or the old ones I had to tear them down to pull all the wiring harnesses out and put it back together. It's just I don't have the time to do it. I really, really want to because I was getting into 3D printing cache containers. And it just takes so much time that I don't have. It's time that I should be going out caching or working on the show
or doing something.
Doing something other. The Pickle Ninja says that you should 3D print that 490 big block.
Yeah.
As a cache.
No. For my car.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
A plastic motor.
Yeah, in my little Hyundai.
That runs on water.
And there you go. And it'll leak like a sieve because of it's a 3D printer.
Well,
too much fun. What?
There is the filament for the what's it called? The metal molding process. I can't remember what it's called.
Metal molding.
But you create the object. Well, you create the object, and then you make the mold to pour the metal into. And I can't remember what that's called, but it's like a plastic, or it's like a wax model that makes the mold.
Oh, interesting.
And they have something for it, but the whole point of the substance, if I remember correctly, and it's been a few years, but you take the mold and heat the mold to extract the wax, and then you can use the mold, but you have to break the mold to get the material out, the metal. It's
Okay.
like lost form molding or something. I can't remember. We weren't going to talk about this tonight.
Oh, sorry. So what about trackables?
Yeah. So getting back to the trackables, we've already talked about the car trackables. We kind of talked about the name tags, and you can get the pre-printed name tags, which I actually don't even have in here. Wow, that kind of sucks. I thought I had one in here. But you can get the nice metal name tags or plastic name tags, that you can take to all of those events and never have to worry about your name tag again and being able to write. Oh, I've actually got stuff still in here from last year. Wow. Or 2 years ago. I will have to go through my name tag. But
I don't have one available to me. Right.
Yeah.
Right here.
I was thinking I might have had it in here and I don't. Well, I'm disappointed because I was hoping to have one to show. Oh, wait a minute. I think I found it. There we go. So this is one of the name tags with the metal backer and magnets. So these are just really nice and handy. You've also got things like the shirts where it's printed on the back, on the sleeves. And Geo Woodstock in Pennsylvania actually included those as part of the package, which was really, really cool. And
Nice.
you can find a lot of them. Well, you got one of those. I think I still have mine, but I might have gotten rid of it. It's definitely seen better days, though.
Mm-hmm.
I probably kept it because it was my first trackable shirt that I ever had.
No, I still have it. I've got a couple of trackable shirts, and when I wear them, I always get people stopping me. Oh, can I take a picture of your shirt? Yes.
Yeah. And that one was on the sleeve, so it was a little bit harder for people to catch.
Well,
so they had to kind of know.
Yes, but I think that's better for women.
I think that's better in general because it's not
putting
quite
it
so
on
awkward.
the chest somewhere.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah. It's just, or the back. And the problem with the back, which I like because it's not on my front, but on the back, then you've got your backpack on top of it.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't see it anyway. One disadvantage of having the name GSM times 2 is the number of people who want to take pictures of my tag thinking GSM times 2 is trackable. Yes, I can definitely
see if
see
you
that.
can get that.
Well, you have no idea how many people, and I don't either, have come up to me and asked what those codes are on the back of my car.
Well, okay, so
because I don't have anything that says track@geocaching.com. It's just the letters.
And you don't have the little bug barcode bug, right? So there's nothing that tells people what those are. Do geocachers know? I mean, are you getting
geocachers know? I get so many more discoveries now than when I had the stickers.
Okay.
Because they are big and easily scanned.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you take a picture from, 3 or 4 car lengths away with your cell phone, it's still visible enough that you can enter them in.
Okay.
Now, one of the other things that we didn't talk about were the trackable tattoos, and they're starting to talk about them in the chat already. So Thanosek and Pickle Ninja are already talking about tattoos. Wait, what's the best way to make a trackable fake tattoo? I was thinking of making tramp stamps to give away. Wow. That is a cool idea. I've thought about that though. The temporary tattoos.
Mm-hmm.
And I seem to remember for the Canon bubble jet printers, a tattoo ink. So it was one of those temporary tattoos that washed up, but it was a special ink, and then you had to have the special paper.
Wow. Okay.
I could be totally wrong with which printer that was, but I remember something about that like 6-7 years ago. It was a thing. Because at the time, there were a bunch of companies that wanted that for trade shows. After the Me Too movement, that kind of went away.
Mm-hmm.
But I actually went and grabbed the 3.6 Trackable Tattoos section of the Help Center to drop into the show notes and read here. And this is kind of one of the reasons why I wanted to bring up that you don't need trackables that are specifically for this purpose. You can use any trackable. Because if you're doing the trackable tattoos and want to have it converted to a trackable tattoo, you just purchase any trackable from shopgeocaching.com or one of geocaching.com's official sponsors or distributors. You have to activate it. Do not place it in a cache or give it to other geocachers. Since you are the trackable, other geocachers must see your tattoo in person in order to discover you on geocaching.com. Then you have to include the tracking code as part of your design. And when that's all done, send an email to logo@geocaching.com and include a photo of the tattoo that clearly shows the tracking number on it.
Interesting.
So it's pretty easy. Riley says there's hundreds of HTs out there with a tattoo, human trackables. There's even at least one that did an NFC.
Really?
Yeah. They embedded the little NFC kernel in their finger, I think it was. I don't remember where it was, but...
So in order to log them, you have to pull their finger?
Yeah, I seem to remember you had to like tap the back of their hand. So it's probably like on the back of their hand, but whatever. Bryling says once you have have the code tattooed on you, you can send the photo of it to HQ and they will change the icon to the human trackable icon instead of the standard travel bug.
I had no idea about that. I learned.
I didn't know that's how it worked. I knew that's basically what happened. But yeah, they had to verify that it was a tattoo before it would work. Okay, so Ryan says that there's a guy in KC, which I'm assuming is Kansas City, who has the NFC chip in his hand.
There you go. That's committed because you can't go anywhere. I mean, you have that. It's like same as a tattoo, right? But this is actually never mind. I was gonna say that's a foreign substance, so zinc.
Yeah,
never mind.
Well, I always worry about the irritation or whatever with those things, and it's still just there, like in your skin. What happens if it's And someone was saying that they actually had one of the wasn't an NFC, but it was something similar to it. I want to say it was like HID that was embedded in their hand when they were doing or in their shoulder or something like that when they had a surgery done, just to try it. And they set off all of the security systems at the stores now. I don't think that was HID, because HID I don't think would do that.
That's funny.
But yeah, it's definitely. And Ryan says that and one in Topeka actually has a tooth trackable.
Meaning in his filling, or did he get engraved on his tooth?
Well, because there's that tooth engraving thing that some people were doing. You put designs on.
Never knew.
Yeah. I don't think that's a good idea.
Why not?
What about large scale trackable, i.e. designs in landscapes?
Darryl, I've wanted for years my house is basically square, and I wanted to put a QR code in the roof shingles, right? So when you're on Google Earth, you could scan it and, take you somewhere. I thought, wouldn't that be cool? I don't know how to do it, especially on an angle. Right?
It should work.
It should, in theory, but
you just have to stretch out the downslope a little bit, and it should work. But I'm not sure it's going to have enough resolution on your personal house that it's going to be scannable off of a satellite view on something like Google Maps. I think how small those are.
Right. No, I love the idea, but it's not as big as doing something in landscapes. Now, hasn't there been a QR code crop circle?
Yes, and there's been the Munsies on buildings and that kind of stuff. The full like frontal building Munsies.
Really?
Yeah, that was a big
Yeah,
thing at one point.
there's the QR code. There's a couple of them.
Yeah. The logos on the roof are another big thing.
Mm-hmm.
But have you come across any of the tracking numbers on grave markers?
No.
That was something I actually ran across the first time when we were in, I think it was Pennsylvania again, actually, but not for that trip. It was for the Geo Coin Fest out there.
Okay.
And one of the cemeteries, probably about an hour drive away, because we were doing a big cash run that day, had the first trackable on a grave marker, and it also had a cache nearby. So we did the cache and caught the trackable, and then there was a nice little memorial on the trackable page to the cacher who had passed away.
Nice.
So I think if I have a grave marker, I wanted to do that.
That makes a lot of sense. I've done a couple of grave search websites because I know, like, we went to go visit my great grandmother's grave, and we're walking through, and my brother said, "I think it's over here." I'm like, "Hold on, I have a smartphone," and you can look it up. You go, "Yeah, it's in aisle 72, spot 4." There it is. Look at that. So, I mean, being able to track it even more accurately than that would be fantastic.
Well, we had to put cache locations in for some of Renee's family's grave markers, because she can never find them in the cemetery. I shouldn't say never. She can find them, but when it's been a groundkeeping crew out or whatever, she has a harder time finding them. So, she has a cache list in Cashly that is her relatives.
Nice. That makes a lot of sense.
It's not, the fun caches to find, but it's a way to manage those waymarks.
Mm-hmm. You talked about a QR code on roofs. Facebook has one. There was a hackathon, and they put a QR code up on their roof.
I forgot about that, but yeah, they have
42 feet square.
Yeah, and it actually works. But I think that one's a pretty simple one. It just takes you to like Facebook.com.
Probably.
But yeah, it's the size of the data in that QR code is going to make a huge difference.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the shorter, the better.
Exactly. It makes it easier to scan at low resolution.
Have you seen QR codes on billboards going down the freeway? Yeah.
Yeah. I've always thought that was a pretty dangerous thing to do, but it makes sense.
Hopefully your passenger is the one scanning it.
Exactly. But I'm not a big fan of the billboards on the freeway because of the rubbernecking that you'll get anyway. So I'm not sure QR code makes it any worse.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. I had to stop listening to the radio in the car.
Darryl,
I've almost run red lights 3 times, always because of an ad on the radio. From a dead stop, the radio distracted me so badly that I thought that the light turned green. And I never actually went through the light. I probably didn't even roll an inch. But it's like, okay, I am not going to listen to any more radio. And I've not had the problem ever since. It's been like 4 years that I turned off the radio in the car, and I haven't had a problem. I just cannot listen to radio ads in the car because it's worse than if I were trying to text and drive. It's a trigger or something for me.
Maybe you just shouldn't drive anymore, Darryl. Leave it to your wife. Let her drive.
She's worse than I am at that, actually.
close your eyes and let her drive.
Yeah, I'm fine listening to podcasts. I'm fine listening to, most other things. It's just the local radio ads are so distracting, and they're not adequately checking for content. So, it's a problem. Actually, one of them I was trying to pull over because it was actually a siren in the ad.
The Pickle Ninja wants to know if anybody's done a QR code tattoo, and I see some here on a quick search. So
yeah, I don't know how that would work for geocaching, but I would assume that it would work. You just have to have the trackgeocaching.com with the code, and I think you're fine. And then GSM times 2 says subliminal messages in radio ads, especially the Cars for Kids commercials.
1-800. Oh, sorry.
See, that one I don't even know. But
that's I don't know about subliminal messaging in that. I just know that ad or that jingle gets stuck in your head.
Yeah, it's an earworm. I hate earworms. I love them, but I hate them. Anyways, where I was going next was this very, very important tip, because there is a way to keep people from grabbing your car or your arm or whatever, your shirt. You don't want people taking the shirt off your back at an event. So
I'd give them the shirt off my back at an event.
But you don't want them to grab it from you.
Oh, yeah. No.
So what you can do is when you activate or modify your trackable, turn it into a collectible. This
Darryl,
is a two-step process. Yes.
Okay, go ahead, because I often mess this up.
So you have to turn it into the collectible. When the trackable is a collectible, you'll get the option to move to your collection. When you move it to the collection, it can no longer be moved or grabbed or anything like that. So that should protect it from being grabbed by someone, and they can only do discoveries on it. The only option when you write the log is discovery or note. That's it.
Okay.
However, we have heard from some people that people were still able to grab it. So it's not 100%. I wouldn't doubt that someone figured out a way to submit a field note kind of thing to make that work, but whatever. And Bryling says someone grabbed his car TV once and he grabbed it back. I've had to do that more than once.
Yeah.
Before, I think it was actually before the collection option was enabled. But it's a nice thing to have, because then you don't have to worry about it. Almost all of the trackables that I've shared on the show are done that way. So it's like you discover it and that's it. It makes it nice and easy. But you were going to say something before I started into that.
I don't remember anymore.
Because something about you always get it messed up.
Oh, making your trackable collectible and putting it into a collection.
Yeah, and the trackable thing, it changes depending on what state it's in. If you're making it a trackable, you'll have a yes, no. And then once it is a trackable or collectible, if you want to uncollectible it, it's a checkbox that you turn off. And you can always take it out of being a collectible, but the concept of the collectible was if it is marked as a collectible, then anyone who has it can move it to their collection. So people like Mountain Bike, who are releasing their coins and letting people keep them, would then be able to move them to their collection, even though he owned the coin.
Right.
So, I could have a trackable that my wife owns, but it could be in my collection because I'm, taking care of it because it's on my car. That kind of stuff. And GSM times 2 says, go ahead. I'll let you read it.
I was going to say that's a great example.
Okay. Think of a museum shop. Things in inventory can be purchased and taken away. Items in the collections cannot be removed from the museum. But The catch is you have to actually add it to the museum after you've marked it as being collectible.
It's a mystery at the museum, that.
Okay, I think with that, I should probably wrap up this show.
Oh, come on. That was good.
Was it?
No.
Kunaba says, yes, that is very precise. I can remember that.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you, GSM times 2, for a very nice and easy way to remember it.
Well done.
Oh, but it is over the 45-minute mark, so we should probably actually wrap it up. Any parting thoughts on the trackables that are not meant to be moved in caches and whatnot?
Just remember you're discovering trackables. Unless you're grabbing them out of a cache or from another person, you're only going to discover them. Just, be mindful of what you're doing, especially if it's somebody's car.
Yeah, it might not count as Grand Theft Auto, but, be careful.
Grand Theft Trackable.
Yeah, I see a book in there somewhere. Okay. Or, you know what? Maybe that's a...
it's the next iteration of the video game.
No, I'm thinking we might have found our winning concept for this year's GIF Film Festival.
Oh.
I think we might need to get see Michelle on this one
quickly. Yep.
Yeah. Well, he's going to be our cop who has to investigate who stole the car.
Okay.
All right. So with that, check the Cachemaniacs website at cachemaniacs.com for more on the Geo Gearheads, including show notes for this and all of our episodes. We love hearing from our listeners, so leave us feedback by emailing geogearheads@cachemaniacs.com or through social media. Your support helps keep the Cachemaniacs shows coming. Please consider becoming a patron through the link on our website to support the Cachemaniacs shows. Geo Gearheads is produced by Chris Sofenauer and Darryl Wanberg. This show is copyright 2021 by Darryl Wanberg. All rights reserved.
Cash with the Cachemaniacs.